Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's August 18th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And really, it was a quiet range type day. Not much action at all. We had a little bit of a trend up here and another one down, and it just there's not a lot of trades today. Actually, there's three, four, five, six, so about 7 trades. So I guess that's not bad considering how slow it was today and how tight the range was, but you had to be really patient. I didn't see a first really decent trade until almost 9 o'clock. And we had a few on the way up, and then we had a few on the way down, and then one more as we went into the lunch hour here that I kind of liked to the long side. But other than that, there just wasn't much happening. It's pretty flat, pretty tight. Um, we broke out here to the upside, then broke out again to the downside. Um, I really thought we'd probably have a bigger range, but as you can see, the range really turned out to be across here. We had a failed break higher and a failed break lower, and we really never could sustain anything to the upside or the downside. So um, just not much happening today. Really quiet day. Um, the market closed at around 2100 yesterday. We're still right at that magical 2100 number. Been here forever, it seems like. And we closed down. So we closed down about 7 points from yesterday, I guess. Um, but anyway, let's talk about the trades. Um, I usually start around 7 o'clock. As you can see, we had a bounce here. This was tempting, but it's just not a very good setup. We do have those matching lows and a little failed break lower. You definitely don't want to be going short into the support. Um, but we weren't that far away from the EMA. There's not a very good, the reversal bar looks nice, but by the time you get a chance to get in, you're way up here, and it's just way too far. So the entry would have actually been one tick above this bar, and it's just too bearish right there. So I think you got to wait. And then we just kind of chopped around, and you this one was tempting because it broke lower and then went higher and went out the upper side. And it is a second entry long, but look at all that overlap. It's just really risky, and we just come off this like double top up here. So again, it's just too risky in my opinion. I think it would have worked if you'd have gone long there, and it would have definitely worked if you went short um, up here. But again, look at all the overlap. It's just really risky. The only thing that I would say here, I went back and forth about it. I'll go ahead and put it on here, but I'll discuss it. I'm willing to make this one green. It's a very uh, aggressive, high risk type entry. Uh, but notice this bar here. When prices broke below it, I would have been okay to use the limit order back up in here where the original second entry would have triggered. So if you could get in that way, I'm okay with that one, but that's the only way. And then you got a really bearish bar right here on a little move higher, but all that's gonna, the rules. You can't go short into that support, so you're better off to wait. And guess what happens? You get that little trap because that looks so bearish, and you get a little trap and it reverses, and you get a nice. It's I wouldn't say a nice long because it actually chopped around. But when it turned back down and went higher here, again, it's tempting to go long right there off that lows. But let me get that out of the way again. But look at all that overlap once again. Um, it's just really risky entering out of that. But then all of a sudden we come back and we test this trend line again, and that confirms it. And even though that's not the greatest signal bar, I'm okay with that one because we're probably heading higher now, and you've got a trap here. You don't want to go short right there either, even though that's tempting on a second entry short. Look how everything pushed through the EMA. That's a reversal type possibility, so you got to be really careful, um, especially after that nice leg down. There's always a chance you might get another one. But the range, the lows here, the support is probably more important than anything, and we're probably headed to the other side. So I like that one. and then you kind of get another two-legged reversal correction here, and there's a failed second entry short counting off the highs. Um, but you got to go long right into this resistance. Same problem you had down here, and you just can't do that. Even though it works here, many times it won't work like it didn't down here, so you can't risk it. So you just have to watch that one go, and you just have to watch that one go without you. So, um, but then guess what? You get a pullback first entry, pullback second entry, and this is the first break of this little trend channel working up through here. And look, you had the break on this side, the overshoot, and that generally is a good clue that, hey, we may get a break. And guess what? We get that break. And again, it was a little bit concerning because the resistance is right there, but we went through it so easily here, we probably cleared all that out. And so the odds are you're going to make a new high, but you're probably going to at least test this this high right here, and you may get that measured move up here. We didn't quite get that, but this turned out to be a pretty nice move, so I liked it. But when we didn't go any higher here, again, I think it's a little bit risky. If we'd have broken lower right there and then turned up, I would have been okay probably going long there. As it is, there's still a lower high, and this is a nice bullish bar. But with the break now and a couple of legs up here, there's, a lot of times you don't get a new high because the range is too, the resistance is too strong. So I'm just really not crazy about that one. And so I think you got to, or this one here, you got to skip it because it didn't, like I said, if it would have broken lower there and then turned up, maybe. And if you want to be really aggressive, I guess maybe you could go along here. But again, look what happened here and look what happened here. And there's a good chance that's what's going to happen to you here. So you just have to skip it, in my opinion. And then you get the new high and you get a big sell off, and look how it pushes right through the resistance. The resistance area that should be acting as support. Look how it goes right through the EMA there. And you already had your one push through it here, so that's kind of your clue that, hey, we're getting, now we push through it again. And notice what happens here. You get a first entry, then you test it again, and you got multiple matching highs, and then it drops down. What I would recommend here is waiting on this break below this bar and dropping a limit order up in here and see if it comes back and fills you what you did. But you really could consider this the second entry short right here. And if you went to a smaller chart, you'd see two attempts to go higher and a clear second entry short. So there's a couple different ways to handle that one. But that's the way I'm looking at it, as this being the signal bar and getting a break and then come in, because it's so big, you got to use a limit order maybe to get in a little bit further back. And then it tries to go higher again and turns back down. At that point, you figure, hey, we're probably headed to the other side of the range again. And that's exactly where it goes. This turns out to be a pretty nice move. There's another little pullback that gives you a failed second entry long here, but you're right into the support now that's held multiple times. So there's a good chance it's going to bounce. And it's tempting to go long right here. But we hadn't had a break of this trend line down yet. And so it's a little bit risky going long just yet. You're probably better off to wait, and then you finally get a break of this little trend line right here, a move to a new high, and then you get a big reversal bar. Normally I would say you might even want to wait on a second entry off the high, but that's so bearish. I think you can just use a stop there. And on the bigger picture, that is a one leg up correction, then another leg up, and you got such a nice bearish bar. You get another one here, but now you've had your break, and you're probably going to get a new low, but it may only be by a tick or two. And I just think it's too risky once again to enter. That support's held just about every time, and the few times it did push through it, reversed real quick. And it tried to do that again. Um, there's no setup here for a short either. So you just kind of got to sit tight. And now you've got your break and a couple of legs down. And then you get a little bit of a trap right here with a big reversal bar. Um, and so you figure, most of the time on your first few breakouts, even if you're going to go lower, it's going to fail. And so I really thought we'd go much higher here. It was a nice, easy trade, but we didn't go a whole lot higher. And you may not have got in this trade if you didn't use a limit order and hope that, one tick above. So this moved pretty quickly. So you may not even got in it. Maybe your chart looked slightly different and you had a little different setup and you were able to get in it. But on my chart, you had to be really quick to get in that trade. And then that got you into the 2 o'clock hour, and there's just no other entries here, long or short. And then you kind of just go into this little trading range into the 2 o'clock hour. So yeah, there's like 7 or 8 trades here, which is not bad considering the type of day we had, to be honest. Um, and no big runners or anything like that. Mostly all you're going to get scalps out of these. You might have got a couple of points on a couple of runners, but for the most part, you're just getting scalps here. So it's just that kind of day, a slow, quiet range type day, and it's not a real big range either. So um, just not much else you can say about today. And you can see how flat the EMA is across there, and when prices are swinging back and forth across the EMA, that's a sure sign that it's a trading range day, and you can generally use your range rules, or should use your range rules, following the trend lines within that, just understanding that you don't always get a new high or low. We really did end up on this break. We got a break and a new low. The break of this little one working out, we got a break and a new high. This one, we got a break and we couldn't get a new low. But that's not a real major trend down. It's just a little real short term one, but we just couldn't get below that support there. This one on the way up, we got a break and a new high. This one on the way down, we got a break and a new low. And so everything pretty much played out exactly like you would expect it, following our price action rules. So no real surprises. And this one shouldn't have surprised you, but other than this, they all played out perfectly, just like we would expect. So anyway, it's going to be a quick day today. Hope you had a good trading day. I hope you saw the range. So hopefully you saw the trends within the range, and even the ranges are congestion area within the trends. So they're there. And it's one thing if you can spot them. It's another thing if you recognize what you should or shouldn't do and can follow the rules as well. So a lot of times I'll get a chart from people and they will they'll have everything marked off here pretty close to what I have, so they see what's going on, but then they'll still try to get short down here or try to get long up here, and then they wonder why they had a loser. But on range days, you don't go short into the support. You look to buy the failed breakouts or the reversals, and you don't go long into resistance. You look to fade that and go short on the failed breakouts. So just keep that in mind. But that's really going to do it for today. So I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.